Today we're dedicating this Rat's Ass podcast to the late James Earl Jones, the voice of God. Could I get a moment of silence, please? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, put your underwear on backwards. And let's go, my fiends. From Hollywood, it's the world-famous Mojo Elliott here to rap about the stuff nobody really gives a rat's ass about. And I do have to warn you up front, I do lack seriousness. So don't expect any, okay? For example, did you know during sex, women are more likely to have a really good orgasm if they're wearing socks? I mean, are you buying this one? I don't know what kind of socks. I guess any socks will do. And there's only one way to find out, gang. That's to go experiment, but make sure you tell Dr. Mojo all about it. All right, for the newbies, this is how the Rat's Ass podcast works. It's like responding to a post on social media that catches your eye and you want to respond to it. Or it's like requesting a song on the radio, maybe. All right, but you email them to me. Use that email. Send them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Your comments, your observations, and questions about any topic that's on your mind, and I respond to them. No topic is off the table. It is impossible to offend me, but I challenge you to try. Again, send them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Alexa, what day is it? Alexa, time to go to work. What day is it?
Bye for now.
Alexa, what day is it?
Today is Tuesday, September 10th.
There you go. She likes to mess with me every once in a while. But it is Tuesday. It's official. It's the day we like to do everything twice, so be careful out there, my friends. You can hear the Rat's Ass podcast anytime on Alexa, Spotify, and Apple. Plus, we're on just about every other podcast app. We drop new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, let's get into the cheese. Now, keep in mind, I do read your emails. Only when Fleabag sends them to me. Fleabag's the producer. So I don't read anything in advance. He forwards me your name, where you're from, converts your comments, observations, and questions so I can read them on the fly by the seat of my pants. All right, we roll a couple of dice to find out how many emails we're going to read every episode. Today, we're only going to be doing 4. That's it. Wow, the dice have spoken. Well, it could have been worse. It could have been 2 for Tuesday, right? All right, Mary J. Sitka, Alaska. Mary J. from Sitka, Alaska. I disagree all it takes to satisfy a man is a steak and BJ. You got to throw in a 6-pack of beer, too. Well, Mary, I'm not saying this is your case, okay? But typically, when you have to throw in a 6-pack of beer with a steak and a BJ, that typically means the guy needs a 6-pack beauty queen to get his hydraulics to work, if you know what I'm saying. Tracy D., Las Cruces, New Mexico, said, I tried your method for picking up chicks in a bar, and it worked like a charm. Thanks for helping me out of my 6-month slump. Tracy, wow, happy to do that, my friend. Air high five. You can go back to Season 1, Episode 1, too, if you want to find out about this method. And I'm always happy to help you. That's what I'm here for. Now, you can use my method, by the way, just about any place. Doesn't always have to be a bar. But church is a little bit different. Yes, you can pick up chicks in church. I'm telling you, you can. And it's usually a deeply religious experience, too, if you know what I'm saying. But here's how it works. Walk into the church, you look around, find a pretty girl, and you go sit by her. Then you wait for the collection plate to get passed around, and you drop a C note in. You kind of look at her and wink and say, you know, there's 900 more of those where that came from. Then you just wait. She'll come to you right after church and say, hi, how are you? Want to go watch some football? Football is a cue for, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? All right, Matt C., Lorain, Ohio, says, what movies have you watched the most and how many times? Oh, that's easy. Animal House, by far my favorite movie of all time, released on July 28th, 1978. I watch it every year religiously on that date. I know I've seen it at least 50 times, maybe more, but it's my favorite movie. And the reason for that is I grew up next to a frat house from 12 to 14 years old. It was a very nice frat house. It looked like, very pristine outside. Didn't look like the Delta house in the movie, but you went inside, when you go, ooh, baby. Oh, baby. Now, this is how dedicated these guys were. College guys, right? And this is the frat house, TKE. Tau Kappa Epsilon, by the way. Shout out to you guys. But these guys were great to us. They'd come out and play sports with us. help us raise money to do various things in the neighborhood. They always stepped up, always stepped up. But when you went inside, the place looked like the Delta House, be honest with you. These guys were so dedicated to education, though, but what they would do is take Playboy magazines, rip out the centerfolds, and use them for wallpaper. They didn't want to be distracted when they were reading the articles. And my friends, that is dedication. That is dedication to education. All right, Christine W. from Cape Coral, Florida says, yes, this is true. You received some pretty sick and twisted emails, so I'm not going to be shy asking this one. I went home recently with a guy, and he asked me to get comfortable in bed. When he finally entered the room, he was naked and swung from his chandelier doing a Tarzan yell and jumped in bed with me. Have you ever done anything crazy like that? Christine, I'm embarrassed to say, no, I never have. But you know what? Let's give it a try. What do you think? Let me just unbutton the belt, unzip the pants. Oh, God, you would think, I got the zipper stuck. Trying to get the pants off here. There I go, almost broke the buckle. Here we go. There it is. There it is. It came off. Let me just slip these off. All right. Taking off the shirt. All right, let's give this a try. I just happen to have a chandelier, so this should be fun. This should be interesting. All right, here we go. Hope I don't step on anything. All right, here we go. Oh, God bless. I think I did pretty good until the dismount. I'm going to have to work on that one. I also forgot I need a lady for that one in there. But anyway, that was worth it. That was fun. I'll try it again next week and see if I can get a better dismount, okay? All right, that's the cheese for today. Keep your comments, observations, and questions coming, and I'll give you my 2 cents. That makes no sense on the next podcast. ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. All right, now let's get into the extra cheese. Last week, singer Katy Perry got social media fired up when she said this.
If I come downstairs and the kitchen is clean and you've done it all and you've done all the dishes and you've closed all the pantry doors, you better be ready to get your dick sucked.
Say what?
I mean, like, literally, that is my love language. I don't need a red Ferrari. I can buy a red Ferrari. Just do the fucking dishes. I will suck your dick. It's that easy.
It's that easy. Well, Katie, I've got a bottle of Dawn and a sponge, and you might have kissed a girl and liked it, but I'll tell you what. You wait until you see how I polish the porcelain, baby. A new study out says there are more handsome, well-educated single men with money than ever before. Now, no reason was given why this is a problem, but I have a sneaking feeling that these guys need to slap on some Old Spice. Yeah, you know, you meet those girls with daddy issues. Little Old Spice smell. Ooh, it smells like my daddy. Smells like my daddy. And I'll tell you what, man. Guys, you'd be in for a good time. All right, Kendrick Lamar will be your halftime show at the Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. The NFL is yet to apologize for not hiring Taylor Swift. My fans, I have failed you miserably here. I promised to watch the debut of Wheel of Fortune with Ryan Seacrest to give you some feedback, and I missed the show. You can blame it on the NFL. San Francisco, New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers comeback, a little more important to me, you know? Now I heard Ryan failed to mention Pat Sajak's name during the show. That's a juicy detail. Now, I did go through some of the comments, and most of the fans liked the show. And I'll tell you what, you know, when you're a radio personality, and Ryan's been a radio personality before anything else, you know, we played games on the radio all the time. So it's just a natural transition. You're just doing it in front of a camera. So I'm sure he's going to be fine. And I'll do my best to catch an episode and get back to you on the Rat's Ass podcast. I know, you don't give a rat's ass, right? All right. I know you heard about the dust-up between Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes, because social media, again, was on fire when absolutely apeshit over the fact that Taylor and Brittany didn't sit together at the Chiefs game with Baltimore last Thursday. Well, I heard from an unreliable source the reason was Brittany's pregnant, and her boobs were sore. Yes, she had sore boobs. And she didn't want to risk injury by bumping my homies with Taylor. All right. Now, apparently, Taylor is one big bad booby bopping mama. So that's why there was no sitting together at the game. But they did hug it out Sunday at the U.S. Open on the Sabbath of all things. All right. Last week, I told you about a poll that said the decade people miss most was the 80s. And I agree with that. I was a young man in the 80s. My God, it was fun. But we got to get back to living like the 80s. And I thought about this, and I came up with a 4-point plan to run by you. And you tell me what you think. Number one, we got to get MTV playing music videos again. I think that's where it starts, because that's kind of how the 80s started and brought on all the debauchery that we saw in those videos, right? I mean, we would spend hours in front of MTV. Martha Quinn, Alan Hunter, Mark Goodman, J.J. Jackson, Nina Blackwood. I think J.J. passed away several years ago. Everybody else is around, but they might be knocking on 70 right now. But let's get them back on MTV. There's makeup. It could work. All right. We got to bring back big hair. Big hairspray hair. Aquanet. Yeah, that was every lady's best friend then. We got the mullet. How about the mohawk? There was the shag. And who can forget Jerry curls? Got to bring it all back. Now, you got to ditch the cell phone for this, because we didn't have those in the 80s. And that's what's really, I think, screwed things up since it was, when did iPhones debut? 2008, something like that? 2008, 2009? But that's really when we all got sucked into this social media void where we always have to have the phone at our hip, and everybody expects you to have that phone at your hip. When they reach out to you, God bless it, you better respond. You have no time to respond. They don't care what you're doing. You got to drop what you're doing and answer that text. Answer that email. Now. That's the expectation you have to live up to. So ditch the cell phone and use it like a wall phone like we had in the 80s. We used that puppy for an answering machine to avoid people. Yeah, we do it now. So nothing's going to change. It's just that you never take it with you. You leave it at home, and you check your answering machine like you would any other time. And what was cool about the 80s, because we didn't have the cell phones or anything to contact people, two major points here. If somebody calls you on the phone, they couldn't get a hold of you, they were forced to make a decision. They had to jump in their car, and however many miles it was, they had to drive to knock on your door to see if you were home. They took that chance. And it depended on how bad they needed to reach you. And you look out the window and see them there and say, not answering the door. I don't give a damn how many times I ring that frickin' doorbell. Then we come into an era of email, electronic mail, instant response. In the 80s, the only thing we had was snail mail. That's all we had. You had to put it in an envelope, lick that envelope, didn't that taste good, and put a stamp on it and send it out. You might not get a response for 3 weeks. Now, if you don't respond in 3 minutes, it's like, hey, where are you? It's like, God bless. This instant gratification has really fucked us up. I'm serious. It really has. All right, number 4, finally. We must experience the return of the waterbed, because it was the most incredible sex, the waterbed sex. One good pelvic thrust, and it was like riding on the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. And no one ever died from screaming, oh God, oh God, oh God. That didn't happen. Nobody called anybody. It was all fine. But we got to have the waterbed back. But at the start of the day, who really gives a rat's ass about all this stuff, right? Have you had enough? I know I have. All right, email what you want me to talk about on the next episode to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Between podcasts, we can always catch up on the socials. You know what to search for, Rat's Ass Podcast. We'll do this again on Thursday, September 12th, and that's the wrap.